Okay, we're just starting the YouTube. Okay, everyone, we're all here. So it is 6:02 p.m. I'm going to call this meeting of the special meeting, actually, of the Board of Selectmen to order. Again, it's Monday, January 11th. This meeting is being audio and video recorded. It will also be streamed live on YouTube, and it will be replayed on Channel 9 on the regular repeat schedule. Public input may be provided as always using the following methods: our email address as listed on the agenda, the telephone number listed on the agenda, and also via Zoom. Either you can unmute yourself on the public input portion, or if I allow public discussion during a specific agenda item, or you can put something in the chat as well. With that, I ask that everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So the reason we have convened this very special meeting of the Board of Selectmen is to hear a presentation by Community Paradigm Associates Bernard Lynch, the principal, regarding our town administrator search. Before I hand it over to you, Mr. Lynch, I did just want to make a very brief statement for those who may not be aware, and also for my Board of Selectmen colleagues. We are all coming into this meeting not having any idea of whom has been selected as a finalist. It was very important to me as the chair of the select board to come into this meeting with all of the select board members having the same amount of information, which honestly is none, regarding who was selected as a finalist. So we're all on an even playing field. No one has any informational advantage over the other. And with that, Mr. Lynch, I yield the floor for you, sir.
Well, thank you very much. And it's good to be here with everyone tonight to present you with your finalists. If I could, I'd like to share my screen because I have a brief, and I need someone to give me permission.
Yep, I'm going to make you the co-host, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I am going to... All right. Hopefully you can all see this. What I want to do tonight is to give you a little bit of background about the process we used and how we got to where we are, and the actual names and a little bit of background about the finalists. Before that, let me just say that I appreciate the opportunity to do this work for the town of Dighton. This is an important position to fill, and we're very pleased that you chose Community Paradigm for this task. We've done now, this is, I believe, our 60th town administrator search over the last roughly 5 years. So we've been quite active here in the state during the course of our being in business, and we've become the most active recruiting firm actually in the Commonwealth. So we like to think that we have a good handle on the candidates that are out there, the needs of the community, and clearly the task or responsibilities that come with being a town administrator or town manager of a community. So a little bit about the search summary of the search that we did. As many of you know, certainly the board members know, one of the first things we did when we came on board was to reach out to you. We also reached out to the department heads within the town, and we did our own research about the town to determine what the issues were that were facing Dighton, and then trying to determine from the people we spoke to the attributes, the qualities, the skills that you were looking for in filling this position. Obviously, you'd lost your town administrator who had moved on to a different position. She had been the first town administrator that the town had had. So filling this position, it was important that we determine what people wanted to, the direction that they wanted to head with regards to that prior individual, what modifications people were looking for. So we worked on developing a position statement. And that position statement was used by us. We hope that it was a valuable process for you to go through the process of thinking about what you liked, what you didn't like, what changes you were looking for, and what the issues were that were facing the town. And by and large, by the way, I will say that what we got was very, very positive about the creation of the town administrator position and the work that was done during Ms. Arenstein's time there in the town of Dayton. But we thought it was a good we always think it's a good process to go through. Then we take that document, we use it to market the position. And I'll get to that in a second. But we send it out to people, but we also think it's a valuable tool for us after we get the applicants in place, and hopefully after you look at the finalists that you have, that you will use that position statement as a way to evaluate the candidates to determine just how well they match up to what we identified as being the ideal candidate based upon the feedback that we received. So we actually went into the market on November 5th. We posted the position and we began our truly active recruitment. We had actually begun talking to people even before then, but November 5th was the kickoff day for when it actually went public, and people throughout the Commonwealth and beyond actually saw that it was out there and that they could apply for the position. We did we have four different ways of doing this. In your particular case, we posted the position on the Mass Municipal Association job board so that we circulated it to people who received the beacon, and whether it's all electronic now, and that's basically how we generally post our positions anyway, but just an electronic version. But we got a good feedback just from putting it out there and letting people know about it. We also have a database that we've developed over the last 5+ years, actually closer to 6 years now, of actually doing recruiting for Commonwealth. So we have literally hundreds of people that have participated in our searches or have expressed interest through our website that they're interested in becoming a town administrator for a community here in Massachusetts. So we use that database to circulate the posting as well. We do take advantage of the fact that Massachusetts is fortunate to have a number of graduate programs in public administration. So we reach out to those graduate schools that have alumni job boards and post a position there. Obviously, this is not a position that is for someone new to the municipal management world, but these alumni job boards are regularly scanned by graduates of these programs to see what positions are out there that they may be interested in. And then what I refer to as candidate-specific outreach. Because we're in the business of working with municipalities on this type of efforts, we have a very good handle on who's out there as municipal managers throughout the Commonwealth. We know who might be good for this job, who might be looking, and that really ranges from department heads all the way up through town administrators, town managers. So we did that type of candidate-specific outreach to different people that we thought might be interested in Dayton. The deadline for applications was December 4th. And when all was said and done on December 4th, when we counted them up, we had 29 applications received, and those 29 candidates' applications were reviewed. We actually conducted our own summary or our own review of the candidates. We chose 9 for preliminary interviews that we spoke to, and got a feel for how interested they were in the positions. And then we sent 6 of those candidates on to a professional panel. That professional panel consisted of former managers, former administrators, and some people from the private sector that are in the recruiting business. And we interviewed those 6 candidates. The interview topics that we were interested in speaking to were their an overview of their career and their specific interest in Dighton. We wanted to get a real handle on how committed they were to actually, and excited they were with the possibility of being in Dighton. We're interested in their leadership and management style and just how well they could collaborate, which is a crucial skill in this position overall, but certainly in the town of Dighton. Municipal finance, because they are playing a role certainly in the preparation of the municipal budget, project management, economic development and land use issues, personnel management and collective bargaining, municipal management profession. We're interested in how committed they are to the actual profession of being a municipal manager. How active are they in professional development? Where do they get their new ideas? Where do they learn about the business of being in municipal management, and how committed they are. We spoke to them about citizen relations and community engagement. That was something we heard from a number of people. They wanted someone who was truly committed to being a part of the Dighton community and interested in sort of building upon that to become more involved in the community. And then lastly, we spoke to them about the select board relationship, understanding the role of the board in setting policy and the administrator in actually executing that policy. From those 6 people, we chose 3 finalists. And the criteria of selection really was the position statement, the ideal candidate description that was in that, the skills, the attributes that were identified within that document, and the feedback from stakeholders, the people that we spoke to. There were ideas, there were concepts that were included in our mind as we were reviewing these candidates, that some of which shows up in the position statement, but some of it isn't fully there because it's difficult to verbalize or write, communicate exactly this type of feedback. But what's essential was that we heard from everyone is that they wanted a true professional. They wanted someone that was committed to the business of being a municipal manager, a municipal administrator. They wanted someone with a high level of energy, wanted someone that focused on best practices, that was in tune with the new ideas and the best way of in terms of processes and policies and practices, someone that was familiar with processes and procedures. Because it's still a relatively new position, there is a need within the town to continue to implement new systems that create this, sort of a standard operating guidelines. So the processes and procedures and their knowledge of that, knowledgeable of Dighton and its issues. We heard that people wanted someone that knew what Dighton was and the issues that it was facing. But this last point, also what we heard strongly from a number of people throughout our interviews was an outside perspective. Someone that was knowledgeable of Dighton, but not necessarily of Dighton. The idea of having someone that was separate from the stakeholders that are in the community right now, someone that could come in and offer that fresh perspective. So you will be receiving, it will be going out to everyone probably within another 15, 20 minutes, the finalist packets. And actually, I believe I'm sending this on to Karen and Leanne, that the packets will include the submitted materials, which were the cover letter and the resume of the 3 finalists, a reference report. What we do here is with these finalists, we reached out to people that knew them, that knew their experience, that knew their work. And in this reference report, we're able to, because it's a public document and we craft these very carefully, but we communicate the attributes that people speak of when they are interviewed about these candidates, with their work style. And what we try to do is provide you too with some specific experience and examples of their work. So there may be a program, there may be a project, there may be a policy that they implemented that people have worked on with them. And we try to get from these individuals, in speaking of these candidates, the specific experiences that they had with regards to those types of projects and that type of work. And then also in each case, each one of these finalists, we also asked them to prepare some short essays that hopefully you will find useful in understanding these candidates and understanding their communication style, as well as their some sort of self-reflection, if you will, and some an idea of exactly who they are and what they've worked on. So the two questions that we've asked are basically a self-reflection of their career, their personal values, an example of a pride in a particular achievement, and a disappointment in failing to overcome a professional challenge. And we've asked them how they, to describe how they navigated each of these examples, how they navigated to achieve or to accomplish a certain achievement, and also how they navigated being disappointed when something did not go as they had hoped, how they had planned. Also asked them to provide an example of a project in which they required a collaborative approach and how they were, what methods they used to engage the stakeholders within the community or the organization in which they were working, so that we get, again, continued examples of exactly how they work with others to achieve certain goals. Okay. So our first candidate is Maureen Candido. Maureen is currently working on her master's degree in public administration from Bridgewater State University. She does have a certificate in local government leadership from Bridgewater State University, as well as a BA and a BS in communications and business management from Bridgewater State. She most recently was the town administrator in Lakeville, Massachusetts. There was a turnover in the board, and there was a separation, a mutual agreement there, but she does have experience as a town administrator, and we're familiar with her experience there and her background, and felt she would be a good one for you to look at. And she did very well with her panel interview with us. So has a good understanding of municipal government. She served in a number of capacities, both in Middleborough as well as in Lakeville, prior to becoming the town administrator. So she's able to bring that to the table. Prior to that, she came out of the private sector, working for Martin Netney companies out of Taunton, doing, as it's indicated, director of sales and operation and director of purchasing and inventory management. This is only part of her experience. We don't, I don't give the whole background here with these candidates. I just give the last couple of positions they've held. But Maureen is your first candidate. Second candidate is Michael King. Michael has a certificate in local government leadership and management from Suffolk University. This is part of the Mass Municipal and Suffolk University cooperative effort to build and create new managers in municipal government here in the Commonwealth. So he recently completed that certificate program. He has an MA in history from UMass Boston and a BA in history from Bryant University. He's, for the last 4 years, he's been the treasurer collector in the town of Raynham, which is an appointed position there. And prior to that, he worked in the Massachusetts Senate as the district and budget director for the 2nd Plymouth and Bristol district, which was roughly 5 years. And then lastly, we have Michael Mullen. Michael has his master's degree in public administration from Suffolk University, a BA in political science from Bridgewater State. He's currently working as the county director, which is essentially the county administrator for Norfolk County. That's been a little over a year now that he's served in that role. But prior to that, he was the assistant county director for since 2017. So he's been with the county for almost 4 years now. Prior to that, he worked for the Massachusetts Association of 766 Approved Private Schools as their Director of Governmental Affairs and Communications. And prior to that, he served 1 year as the Chief of Staff to the Mayor of Brockton. He does have some state, both he and, as you saw with Michael King, both have experience working in the State House. Both know their way around Beacon Hill. Michael is, I should have said that Michael King did serve on the Finance Committee in, I believe, Rainham for a period of time. Michael Mullen is currently a member of the Board of Selectmen in Rockland, a position that he is stepping down from at the end of his term this spring, I believe. So those are your 3 candidates that we're bringing forward. The next steps, we have the interview dates of the 19th and I believe the 21st. I would like to talk a little bit about the interview process. And then we have interview questions that will also be in the materials that I'm sending on to you later this evening. So that's what I have for the 3 candidates. We think that there are 3 enthusiastic, energetic, and skilled candidates that you will be able to interview, and we think that you have a good choice of people there to look at.
Thank you, sir. Just regarding the, I guess, the process that Community Paradigm had used as Mr. Lynch had presented, did either of my board colleagues have any questions regarding that for Mr. Lynch? And then the board can discuss amongst ourselves the selection procedure, and then whether or not the timeline that we sort of established tentatively still works for everyone. But I did want to give my colleagues the opportunity if you had any questions.
I have no concern about the process. So thank you, Bernie.
Thank you.
Yep, Selectman Goulart, you just have to unmute yourself. No, it's okay. No worries.
I'm all set, Brett. No questions.
Thank you. Mr. Lynch, we just want to thank you so much. We look forward to receiving the packet of materials so we can take time to digest everything, you know, on our own time frame. But just from the perspective of the select board chair, I just want to thank you. It's been a pleasure working with you. It's been a pleasure, you know, when we first discussed this initially on what the timeline would be and everything, it was a very smooth process. You were very easy to talk to, and you were also very helpful. And the counsel that you provided was very insightful and intuitive. So I want to thank you for being a great resource, especially for me, as we navigated this together.
Great, thank you. With regards to the process moving forward, after you get the packet, I stand ready to, if any of the board members have questions about the candidates as you get ready for the interviews, and then after, even after the process, depending upon when you make your decision, certainly, my phone number is on the in the packet that you can reach out to me through email or through phone to set up a time to talk about the candidates. As far as the process goes, there's a couple of different ways you can look at, and I imagine the board will probably speak and talk about this. One way is, we've given you some sample questions. You can use those questions. You can come up with your own questions. Certainly, we would advise you on the, I'm sure there's not going to be an issue with this, but I always have to say it. There's certain questions you can ask and certain questions you shouldn't ask. I'm sure you're all aware of that. Be happy to provide you with information on that. And in terms of the questioning, as I say, you can move forward and ask the questions yourself. A number of communities that we work with too, we serve as sort of a facilitator of the dialogue and the discussion, and we're happy to do that. So whatever you're most comfortable with, that you're interested in that second approach, we would simply put the questions out and then have the candidates respond, and you would be able to then focus on what the candidates are saying, and then drill down into some of those questions or those topics with your own specific questions related to that. So we're happy to do that, and Brett, I'll be happy to speak to you more at length about that if you're so interested. But we can do it either way. But we'll be there on the 19th, and we'll be there on the 21st, and I will work with the candidates to schedule the times. I believe we're starting at 6 o'clock on the 19th and on the 21st, and we'll do hour-long interviews, 6 and 7, and then 6 o'clock on the 21st, and then you'll be able to make have your discussion and determine whether you're ready to make a decision at that time. So.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
All right, great. Well, thank you very much. We'll be in touch. All right.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Have a good evening.
Good evening.
So before we open it up to public input, I did want to discuss the selection procedure and just check in with my colleagues if the timeline is everyone amenable to it? 2 interviews on the 19th, 6 and 7 p.m., and then 1 interview on the 21st, and then we can have some discussion before we select, however long that takes, of course.
Okay with me.
Selectman Goulart, the MMA conference, that starts the Friday or the Thursday?
I think it's Thursday, Friday this time, but these dates wouldn't run into it.
Isn't it the 21st and 22nd? No?
I think it is the 21st, but I think it ends at 5.
Yeah, I know we talked about that early on when we set the dates.
So I wanted to do it just, to get, because at that time I was thinking of going. So I wanted to give us like cushion, it ends at 5 and then, we're not going right into a meeting. We have an hour before the final interviews begin.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Anything else from my board colleagues?
I'm all set.
All right. At this time, I will entertain public input. I just want to state, at this time, I'm not going to allow any questions or discussion on the content of the individuals who were selected, of course, because the Board of Selectmen simply we have not received the entire packet of information. So we have the same exact information you have, quite frankly. However, if you have input regarding the process that Mr. Lynch presented or any other input not related to the town administrator search, feel free to unmute yourself. Just give us your name and your address, and then you can speak. Just be respectful. Okay. Hearing no public input at this time, and again, we will meet on January 19th, starting at 6 p.m. for the town administrator finalist interviews, but hearing no public input, at this time, I will entertain a motion from my colleagues to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Dr. Z,
Sure.
the information that's going to be emailed to us, that's public information now?
It is.
Okay.
I just, when the conversation between Mr. Lynch and I happened, I just felt very strongly, not everyone's busy, right? Everyone has different schedules. I was unsure if he emailed us the packet of information before today's meeting. I wasn't guaranteed that everyone would have time to review it. So I just felt it was better we all come into the meeting with not knowing who it was going to be or what Mr. Lynch was going to present. And then we'll all get the packet of information afterwards and we can read it, when we all have time before the interview.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it. That motion carries. Roll call, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you so much, everyone. Again, thank you to Mr. Lynch and Community Paradigm Associates. We will begin our finalist interviews on January 19th, which is a Tuesday at 6 p.m. And we look forward to seeing everyone there, including the public, of course. Thank you and have a good night, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Aye.